What's going on, everyone? Thanks for coming to watch. So I got an update for you guys on the tropics. So we just had tropical storm Hillary move right through Southern California, bringing some devastating flash flooding to the area. That was really, really scary to see. So we've actually never seen a hurricane move through California. That was the second or third tropical storm in California's history to ever make landfall in the state. So that's very, very crazy to see how something that we haven't seen since like 1937, 1938. So very, very interesting to see how the storm was strong enough to move off the coast of Central America, and then it curved up parallel to the Mexican coastline, moved right through the Baja California Peninsula, and then right through Southern California. So we're done with we're done with Hillary for now, but we do have also a lot of attention out here in the tropical Atlantic right now. So we have three newly formed tropical cyclones. One was Emily that formed yesterday. I covered that in yesterday's update. Emily is now a post-tropical cyclone. Emily has weakened down to a tropical depression. I don't expect it to get back up to tropical storm status. There's a small chance it will. But yeah, that's going to be pretty much it. And we also do have a special guest. We have Ethan right here. He is another budding meteorologist. We're going to be talking about these systems alongside with him. And so we're going to get this rolling, starting to look at Franklin. So Franklin was one of our newly formed tropical storms. This was formed very, very early this morning, about 2 a.m., 3 a.m. this morning. It is now a 50-mile-per-hour tropical storm, so it formed very, very fast. We saw yesterday we had we did have a high chance of development, but I really was not expecting this storm to form that quick. But it is now a very, very strong and organized system, and it's been just strengthening and strengthening for a very, very fast period of time. You can see that it's got maximum sustained winds at 50 miles per hour, and it's down to a 999 millibar central pressure storm. So the storm system is very, very healthy. This is going to move right through Haiti and the Dominican Republic, so we're going to be tracking that for you guys today. We also do have Tropical Storm Gert. Tropical Storm Gert is a 40-mile-an-hour tropical storm, so it's a low-end tropical storm. It is forecasted to be downgraded to a tropical depression in pretty much anywhere. Pretty much by the time you watch this video, this is probably going to be post-tropical cyclone Gert, because it's another one of those systems that we've been seeing where it's the hype gets very high because we have a lot of attention out in the Atlantic, but you look at the storm systems and they only stay within tropical storm status for like a few hours to a day, and then the next day they're back down to tropical depression strength. We also do have potential tropical cyclone 9 out here. This is almost tropical storm Harold. I think this is another one of those storms where by the time you watch this video, it's probably going to be tropical storm Harold. It is forecasted to move through southern Texas, so we will track that, as this could deliver some very, very intense rainfall. It could lead to flash flooding out in some places of southern Texas. We have a 90% chance of formation throughout the next 48 hours, so we'll definitely have to continue watching that. And then we also do have Invest 92L with a high 70% chance of development. So we also do have a 48% chance of development through the next 48 hours. So Ethan, what do you think is going to happen with Invest 92L? Do you think it's going to form fairly soon, or do you think we're going to have to wait until farther into the week for this thing to develop?
Hopefully it will develop soon, but most likely through this week it will happen.
Yeah, so if this does develop soon, there's a chance that it could get kind of thrown around a little bit by this trough, but I think that this is going to form a little bit later. I think it's probably going to get to a point around Emily, where Emily is right now, and then that's where things are going to get interesting. That's where we could actually see a very, very strong and dangerous hurricane form right in the central Atlantic, but there is also a chance that this will move a little bit closer to the east coast, or it'll just curve out and move out to sea. So we're hoping this moves out to sea because we obviously don't want anybody in the mainland United States or anybody out here in the near the Atlantic to get hit by a hurricane, because bad things happen when people get hit by hurricanes. But that's pretty much it for the wide view of the Atlantic. So we're going to be looking at now post-tropical cyclone Emily. So post-tropical cyclone Emily was recently a low-end tropical storm. Emily was very, very close to entering a area. If it moved, let me tell you guys, if it moved east, like due east, or excuse me, due west, out into this area just south of Bermuda, just east of the Bahamas, I think that this could definitely have become a high-end tropical storm, potentially another hurricane, just because the waters are scorching hot out here. There's a little bit less wind shear, um, but it would really have to get stronger and stronger as it moves closer to this area, because there also is that lower level trough that's picking this storm up. It's not only picking up, not only would pick up Emily if it would move through this area, but it also will eventually pick up Tropical Storm Franklin, which we'll talk about in a few minutes. But as for now, this is definitely going to be weakened down back to tropical depression status, as that's where it is now, and then this will eventually curve a little bit farther north, and then once it's parallel to Bermuda by 8 a.m. Thursday, around that time frame, it'll become a just a remnant low. So that's going to be it for post-tropical cyclone Emily. We'll look at tropical storm Gert right now. Tropical storm Gert is now a brink low end tropical storm. It's probably, by the time you're watching this video, it's probably going to be a tropical depression. It's forecasted to pretty much do nothing. It may get a little close to the northern Lesser Antilles Islands, where we could actually see some showery activity and some relatively gusty winds out in this area. But it is getting a little bit close to that favorable area of development, but it's definitely not strong enough to get into this region, as it's probably just going to be a remnant low as it gets to this area parallel to Puerto Rico. So we'll definitely continue watching this storm, as it will eventually move a little bit closer to these very, very warm waters, and obviously the Lesser Antilles. I think that this storm is just going to uh, weaken to the point where it's non-existent. So it's going to be it for Tropical Storm Gert. Look at Tropical Storm Franklin. This is where I have the most concern. And you can see here, Ethan, that we have a very, 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 very strong and dangerous setup, looking like we have a potential hurricane on our hands. So, do you think the storm is going to move out to sea after it moves right through the Dominican Republic, or do you think it's going to move north as it gets pulled up by that trough and then maybe turn to the United States? What do you think it's going to do?
I feel like it's gonna after it hits the Dominican, I feel like it's gonna turn going north.
Yep.
And then hit the USA.
Yeah,
most
maybe.
likely.
It could definitely, and there's a shot for that to happen, but you could see that it's very, very far out. I mean, you could see that it doesn't look like this is a very very far like track here. But we get to this point here just south of Bermuda. It doesn't look that far away from the DM yet, and it's already Saturday, so it's probably going to take a very, very long time to get into some areas a little bit closer to the United States. So it might be a little too far out to make some estimates on where exactly this is going to go after it becomes a hurricane. You can see that they are a little bit confused. The the forecasters at the National Hurricane Center are a little bit confused on where exactly this is going to go, as there is this is just a potential track area in this dotted area. The area here in this cone, this is the forecast. This is too far out to make definite forecasts on. Although, as for now, this is where we think that the storm's going to go. I'll put the line on for you guys, so this is kind of the track it's going to take. So notice how there are tropical storm warnings for the southern coastline of Haiti and the Dominican Republic, but for the northern coastline, there's a tropical storm watch. So based off of this, do you think we are going to see we're going to see the storm weaken to the point where it won't have any shot at becoming a hurricane after moving through the DM, or do you think it's going to re-strengthen and become a hurricane, potentially a stronger hurricane as it gets closer to Bermuda?
I think it's going to get stronger as it gets closer to the warmer waters.
Yeah.
Up in the Bermuda. But it can happen that it just weakens after the DM.
Yeah, I think the fact that it's going to move over land could definitely weaken it just a little bit. But I think because we don't have that much land, we don't have that much land under it, and these waters are very very warm, especially closer to the Bahamas. That this storm is actually going to get very very strong to the point where this actually could become a pretty dangerous setup for Bermuda and then potentially the eastern coast of the United States.
Yeah.
So again, we have tropical storm warnings out for the southern coastline of both Haiti and the Dominican Republic. Not quite Puerto Rico. I think you guys might get on the western side of Puerto Rico. You guys might get some gusty winds and some heavy rainfall, but I think that it's really mainly going to be impacting just the border of the Dominican Republic and Haiti. So we also do have obviously that tropical storm watch out for most of the northern Haiti coastline, and then all of the Dominican Republic northern coastline. So we're going to be looking at now for the I don't know, this is like the sixth panel for Franklin, and we're going to look at all the details coming up right here. So we'll look at the satellite loop here. Let me wait for this to load here, but I just want to show you guys that Franklin is absolutely loaded with moisture. I mean, look at this. Look at all these pinks, these purples, these grays. I mean, that is, you guys, I'm not sure if you guys know how much moisture that is, but this is a very, very healthy looking system. This has a ton of moisture to deal with. It has, though, a boundary of less convection here and a boundary of convection with almost a wall here. So there is some slight wind shear that's bothering the system. Obviously, that trough is trying to pull it up. But we'll have to continue watching if this storm will do anything that shows any signs of weakening. But yeah, the storm is looking very, very healthy as it is moving due east right now. I think any moment this is just gonna make its turn up northward as it gets parallel to the border of the DM and Haiti. I think that's when it's gonna move northward. And I mean, looking at the cone again, it's pretty much just going to move due north, as it is moving eastward as of now. So we'll continue tracking where this thing's going to be going, but it is very very strong as for now. We've already looked at the cone here to see where this thing's going to be going. So look at now the look at the GEPS ensembles for exactly where the storm could go in the far future, and obviously how strong this could get. Because you see these you can see the pressure guidance out here. This little chart here. This shows you how strong the storm will get. Considering that most of these tracks are showing it get to this red and orange and yellow and green zone. I mean, that's down to 970 millibars. That is equivalent to a Category 2 to Category 3 hurricane. So the fact that we're seeing pretty much every single one of these members taking it down to this strong is pretty scary to see. But also, I think you were right, Ethan, because we see here most of these models take it very, very close to the East Coast, potentially making a landfall. We do get just one member out here that takes it into Florida. I think I don't think this is definitely not going to happen, but this is there is some type of signal that makes the storm move a little bit closer, a little bit further west, impacting parts of Haiti a little bit more, and then maybe this could move a little bit closer inland. But most of these members take it have it move northward, pass through the islands. They have it move a little bit out. They might move it out to sea. Then it quickly makes a sharp turn and starts moving north, a little bit closer to the United States, and then moves out to Newfoundland. That's definitely possible, but you can see that this is very very close to Long Island, New Jersey, and the southern New England coastline. So it's obviously too far to make any final decisions on the storm, although it is looking very, very possible that we could have a near landfall on the East Coast from Tropical Storm Franklin. So we'll go back to the this will be the 7 panel out here. We'll look at the intensity guidance. This is basically the same spaghetti model, except it's for how strong the storm will get. We looked at the map of how low the pressure will be for the storm and where it's going to go. This model has the same members, although it's going to be showing us just how strong the storm will get. So we see most of these, actually all of these members, taking it up to at least moderately strong tropical storm status, 45 mile an hour winds. They take it above 45 to 60 mile an hour. You could see, I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah, like 15 of these members, 10 or 15 or so of these members take it up to Category 1 status. Only two take it up to Category 2 status. So that's good to see that at least in the near future we will only see the storm get up to Category 1 status. But I think once we get a little bit closer to when the storm will right past the Bermuda area, I think that's when we could see the climb move a little bit higher into Category 2, maybe even Category 3 status. That's what I'm thinking right now, just by again looking at the spaghetti models, the spaghettios here. I mean, you have many, many members again showing a very, very strong signal for strong, further development of the system as the projected path as for now shows a 980 millibar and 983 millibar low pressure center of the storm. So we'll definitely have to continue watching Franklin, as the storm could definitely be a problem for the United States. So for the last part of the update, we'll look at Invest. Actually, this is not going to be the last part of the update. Excuse me. So we're going to be looking at Invest 92L for the next part of the update. We'll look at so far just the satellite loop of Invest 92L. We'll wait for this to load. 1 second. But I just want to show you guys that there is a lot of rotation with the storm. Look how much look how much rotation with the storm is. There are two sides of it. You can see the western side is definitely the stronger side. These are the Capo Verde Islands that this storm just ran right through. It is now moving off the coast of these islands, and it is looking still pretty strong, as we do have a lot of moisture to work with, especially on the western side of the storm. And then on the eastern side of the storm, we almost have a separate area of rotation here that appears to be kind of conjoining into the. It's going to be joining these the western side of the storm into just one massive area of rotation and convection with the thunderstorm buildup. So that's a good sign that the storm is developing. The storm is definitely developing. I really do think that because it's not as organized as other previous tropical cyclones have looked, I think that this storm is definitely going to need some more time to develop. But because it has a lot of moisture to deal with, and it's got that much rotation this early, I think that's a good sign for development. So, what do you think, Ethan? What are your thoughts on Invest 92L? Do you think it's going to develop a little bit faster? And if it does develop faster, do you think it's going to get to hurricane status, or do you think it's going to need a little bit longer time, a little bit more time to develop? And then how strong do you think it will get to?
If it takes a little longer time, it can probably get up to that Category 3 status.
Yeah, maybe.
But also, this early, it can probably get to Category 1 at the least.
Yeah.
Category 2.
Yeah, so what he's saying is basically there is a very, very large and strong signal for intense development, not only development into tropical storm status, but maybe up into the hurricane status. So again, it's looking like the storm's going to have a long time to develop, so it's pretty far out to really make any forecasts and expectations on how strong the storm will get. But there is definitely, well, he's right about this. There is a very, very strong signal of hurricane development, possibly, and maybe category 1 to 3 status could definitely be possible with the system. So we'll go back to spaghettio models. Here, we'll get the tracks here. So most of them take this pretty much just moving along, moving pretty much northeastward, and then they take a sharp curve as this gets a little bit closer to the east coast of the United States. That's pretty much right around here. So it's probably going to, the fact that we have um, some ridging out here a little bit closer to the United States because we have that heat dome. That may be a reason why the storm is going to be moving away from the United States, but also just the fact that there is some land out here that the storm will want to move away from it, just because the fact that the storm could move, if the storm does move over land, it'll definitely weaken. And if it does move through the United States, it's obviously going to weaken enough to the point where it's not even a tropical cyclone anymore. But most of these members take it to a pretty strong status. A lot of them take it down to this the yellow area here, which is anywhere from 990 to 1,000 millibars. But there is one member out here, which this is very surprising. It takes it all the way down to 960 millibars, and this is a very, very strong storm. So you could definitely notice that there is a strong signal for some potentially strong development of the system. As we'll move on to the intensity guidance, model intensity guidance, you can see most of these members taking it up to tropical storm status, and like Ethan said, a lot of them taking it up to category 1 at least, maybe even category 2, category 3 status, based off of the information on the storm that we have going on right now. I think when we could start making some we can start making some ideas on how strong the storm will get once it starts to once it earns a name. I think it would probably earn the name Idola because after Harold is Idola. So I think this has a good shot at becoming Tropical Storm Idola, and then maybe we'll see this even become Hurricane Idola. So we'll have to continue watching this system very, very closely. So for the last part of the update, we're going to be looking at the GFS for the entire wide view of the Atlantic. So we're also going to be looking at Invest 91L, which is out here. I'll actually go back to Invest 91L for you guys, just because I also do have some concerning details to show you with that storm, because it is going to move through southern Texas, and it's looking like this will get strong enough before it makes a landfall in southern Texas that it could definitely produce a very, very large amount of rainfall. So I will go out to where it is. This is potential tropical cyclone 9, and here it is. So this is what it's looking like now. It is not organized yet. I mean, you can see, Ethan, it is not. It's definitely looking like it's all over the place. But it's again one of those. The reason why we have so many of these systems forming is because the atmosphere is absolutely loaded with moisture, and so all these storm systems, these tropical waves, they're soaking up all this moisture, and then eventually, if as long as the wind shear is low enough, these storms can get it together and start circulating, becoming tropical storms and hurricanes. That's why we're seeing that widespread development. If we had some more wind shear and the atmosphere wasn't loaded with as much moisture, we would definitely see a huge decrease of development. But since we have like a very, very large decrease of wind shear, and we do have a lot of that moisture in the atmosphere, that's why we have so much development out there in the Atlantic. So we'll go back to the details on potential tropical cyclone 9. Excuse me. And you can see this is very interesting to look at. You have this every single one of these members spikes it right up into tropical storm, but like just literally minimum tropical storm status, and then they fall right back down into the tropical depression status. Well, actually, I would say most of these members do. I don't. I don't. It does. It turns out that not all of these take it up to tropical storm status. Pretty much half, and it's pretty much a 50-50 chance based off of this chart that the storm will get up to tropical storm status. Then there's also a 50% chance that they will just that it'll just stay in tropical depression status. Um, but yeah, I mean, this is the forecasted track of the storm, and oh boy, okay, so we just got a tropical storm warning. The tropical storm warning was just issued for southern Texas. So this is big news. This is big news, guys. When you see a tropical storm warning issued before the storm even develops, I mean that's not good. So it's looking like the storm is it's coming. It's definitely coming. So if you are in the if you're in the eastern coastline of southern Texas, you've got to be ready by 7 tomorrow morning. This is impacting as soon as tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Tomorrow morning. Waking up tomorrow morning, and here you go. You've got tropical storm conditions that could get so intense that you do have tropical storm warnings out for this entire coastline. So the storm is forecasted to move right through the Texas and Mexico borderline, and then right as it moves through Texas, it'll become a tropical depression, and so it'll probably just be short-lived all the way from now until the end of Tuesday. So we're going to quickly look at how much rainfall could fall with the system before we look at the GFS, for the Atlantic. But let's go back down to the south central U.S. for a closer look at the system. As it is looking like the storm will drop a lot of rainfall on southern Texas and the south central U.S. So we'll get up our precipitation and moisture maps out here. Let's get our precipitation. All right, so we'll get this. We'll play this out to. I guess we'll play this out to the 24th, because we're not going to see pretty much any more rainfall in this region, as we have seen an exceptional drought in this region. You can see that our heat dome is pictured out perfectly on this rainfall map. You have almost no rainfall at all for this entire region in the central U.S. That's under the heat dome. But then you go back to the areas that are going to get hit by the tropical system, and you get a lot of rainfall. So you can see in these lines and stripes of purple and pink, you can see that's rainfall ranging from 2 all the way up to 5, maybe even 6 inches of rainfall. So, based off of looking at this map, how much rain do you think we could expect for areas of southern Texas?
About I'm guessing about 3.5 to 4.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a good estimate on pretty much the average amount of rainfall that we're going to see out in southern Texas, and then the areas farther south, the areas farther north in these blue shades. I think that anybody who's in the way of the system is going to get at least half an inch of rain. I think that's definitely likely for this entire area, but this will continue to drop rain all the way up into parts of New Mexico. You can see out here in the boot heel of New Mexico, you have pretty much 0.75 to 1 inch of rain, and then you have another spark up of rainfall out here in parts of southeastern Arizona. So there are going to be many areas out in the south central and the southwestern U.S. that are going to get impacted by the system. But I think flash flooding is definitely the main concern, especially for these coastal regions of southern Texas. So for the last part of the update, this is definitely going to be the last part of the update. We're going to be looking at the wide view of the Atlantic, looking at the GFS model. So here are our 3 main systems. We've got post-tropical cyclone Emily out here. This is borderline tropical depression and tropical storm status. So this was literally just dropped down to tropical storm status. This is Franklin, the most concerning storm out of all of these. Franklin's probably going to move up like this. And then we also do have potential tropical cyclone 9, which is out here in the Gulf of Mexico. So we'll continue watching. We'll continue playing this. We'll see how they go. You can see tropical cyclone 9 moving right into southern Texas, delivering a lot of rainfall. You can see those you can see the bands here of development. Excuse me, development. The bands of rotation and rainfall are rotating all around the storm in a very very sharp and precise manner. So that's telling you that the storm could develop quickly develop into a very very um, organized system. And then we also do see we do also do see Tropical Storm Franklin. That's going to be a 999 millibar low pressure storm moving right through the Dominican Republic. We'll continue watching this system. You can see it does get weakened right after it moves through the islands, but then it quickly gathers strength as it meets up with the I believe this would be Invest 92L, which is expected to form pretty soon, and they kind of flirt with each other for a little bit. But the GFS, the latest GFS, this is the 12Z GFS. It's forecasting this, or not forecasting, but it's projecting this the Franklin to become a monster hurricane, 969 millibars. That is, I mean, that is a Category 2, Category 3 hurricane. So it's looking like, again, once again, Ethan was right about a very, very strong signal for possibly hurricane development up to Category 2 status. So that moves up into parts of Newfoundland. Still a 976 millibar low pressure. That's probably a Category 2, Category 1 storm. And then behind it, you have uh, Invest 92L, which on the latest GFS run does not show any signs of very, very intense development. We'll continue watching it. And here it goes. It actually does do something with it. 986 millibars. So I'm having a little trouble reading this, but I mean, it does eventually. It takes it for a very, very long and bumpy ride. It kind of takes it like this, goes up, it gets pulled by this ridging out here, and another trough that could reach down. But then it gets to a point where it's strong enough to go back down closer to those warmer waters, the scorching hot waters of Key West, Florida, and then potentially make a landfall right here into Florida. And we'll see if it does anything else. As a At this point, this would be a hurricane. This is about September 3rd. So again, it's very, very far out. But yeah, this is. I mean, if this is definitely not right. This is definitely not what's going to happen. This is going to change. It's way too far out to make any forecasts or expectations on the system. But on the latest GFS run, even though this is very far out, there is a good signal that this storm will move fairly close to uh, the Florida Peninsula and potentially make landfall as a very, very strong hurricane. As this gets to, look at this, 948 millibars. 948, that is, okay, that's getting to Category 3, Category 4, uh, kind of potential, and then makes landfall in southern Mississippi, southern Alabama as a monster 958 millibar low pressure hurricane. And then behind it, maybe another system could develop as a 963 millibar low pressure storm. So, I mean, for weeks and for pretty much months now, we have been seeing continuous signs of signals of very very strong development out in the Atlantic. As we already do have multiple tropical cyclones, tropical storms that have formed out in the Atlantic, as some of them could get to strong hurricane status. So that's all I got for you guys. Thank you so much for coming to watch, and we'll see you guys in the next video. So I just want to give a round of applause to our guest, Ethan, and it was very, very great to have you, Ethan. So we will. I might try and have him on the show again.
Yep.
But yeah, this was very, very fun to do this. But again, we have a very, very strong signal for development of the Atlantic, and we're going to have to watch every single one of these systems that emerges off the coast of Africa, and then also the systems that are currently now tropical cyclones, and then obviously some storms that could potentially get into the Gulf of Mexico. So that's all I got for you guys, and we'll see you guys in the next video.